That's Wolverine.
You're damn straight it is. Disney brought him back. They're gonna make him do this till he's 90.
What's up, guys? Remington Keyes here, and welcome to my Easter egg video. We're going to do the top 25 Easter eggs explained to the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. From Thanos' chair to the inevitable Stan Lee cameo, we're going to break down all of Deadpool 3's Easter eggs. Whether or not it delivered on the hype, and let me tell you, there was hype surrounding this movie. It's probably the most hyped movie since Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. This is going to be great. It's great to see all these people back in action. The trailers had us wondering what this is going to be like, what it was going to deliver on. Is it going to be as good? This has definitely had a lot of pressure on it. It had the option to fix the creative complaints against the MCU that they've had recently. The movie is meant to be the beginning of the mutant saga mentioned by Kevin Feige. And I don't know how literal he meant that, but it's probably more metaphorically. There's a lot of mutant cameos and stuff, and there's so much to talk about. But whether it delivered on the hype, that's for you guys to say, not me. You know, every Marvel fan knows that most of the MCU are chock full of Easter eggs, be it a nod to the comics or a movie or previous pop culture. Deadpool is no different. It might have more to do with, the character's self-awareness and fourth wall breaking. Either way, it's going to be chock full of cameos and Easter eggs. Let's start off with number one, the Gossip Girl gag. In the movie's opening sequence, Deadpool digs up Wolverine's body before being beaten by a bunch of stick-wielding Minutemen from the Time Variance Authority. The agents ask him to put down his weapons and surrender himself, but obviously Deadpool isn't too excited about the idea. To stall for time, he tells the officers that while he's going to attempt to fight his way out of this, he promises to do so without using his weapons. Then he gives Logan's skeleton a look. There are 206 bones in the human body, 207 if I'm watching Gossip Girl, he says to the camera right before he starts beating the officers up with Wolverine's corpse, which we can only assume is a joke and nod to his wife, Blake Lively, who we don't need to elaborate anymore on that joke. The I Like Me mug. This one is pretty random, but an I Like Me mug pops up multiple times in the movie. The drinking device is first seen propped up on a bunch of rocks as Deadpool excavates Logan's grave in North Dakota. Then again, as part of a flashback that takes place in a sacred timeline at Avengers headquarters, where Wade is being interviewed by Happy Hogan for the Avengers team. It's seen one more time when Deadpool calls out a TVA agent for making googly eyes at him at the Time Variance Authority office. Earth 10,005. We've known for a while that the sacred timeline and all the Avengers adventures take place on Earth 616. But Deadpool and Wolverine, however, is confirmed to be on Earth 10,005. Using Cable's time travel device, he travels to Earth 616 to interview for the Avengers team, as we just mentioned before. Most of the movie will take place in the Earth 10,005 timeline. Here's some Easter eggs too, and they're more cameo Easter eggs. We knew there was going to be some cameos in this movie, and some of the best ones were Pyro from the X-Men movie, Wesley Snipes' Blade, Elektra from the Ben Affleck Daredevil movies, and making his debut is Channing Tatum as Gambit. For those who don't know, he was supposed to be Gambit in one of the X-Men movies and have his own spin-off movie, but then Disney bought Fox and that ruined that chances. So it's good that he finally gets to make his debut. Logan. Deadpool and Wolverine is set in early 2024. Though it was released in 2017, the events of Logan take place in 2029. So it's a bit bizarre that they're referenced so heavily in the sequel. They're kind of a catalyst of events for everything that happens in Deadpool 3. In fact, with Wade setting out to save his universe after Logan, its anchor being died, and it started to fade away. Towards the beginning of the movie, Paradox tells Wade of Logan's epic sacrifice, saving X-23 in the Logan movie, before showing him footage of that film. Wolverine's variants. In his attempt to find another Wolverine to replace the one of his universe, Deadpool meets a whole line of clawed mutants who were inspired by fan-favorite versions of Wolverine, like Patch, Weapon X, and Old Man Logan. And some of the variants are played by none other than Henry Cavill, who played Superman in the Man of Steel movies. Thor's classic helmet. Thor's comic accurate winged helmet can be seen half buried in the dust of the void, along with the helicarrier from the Avengers movie. So, in the 20th Century Fox sign. The Fantastic Car. Things soon go pear shaped for Deadpool and Wolverine when they get captured by Pyro's bandits and ferried to the villain Cassandra Nova's base. At the front of the Mad Max esque convoy, you could spot the dusty version of the Fantastic Car, which could have been pruned along with Johnny from who also makes a cameo appearance from Fantastic Four. He's played by Captain America. Alaya. Deadpool and Wolverine features a bunch of Loki related stuff from the TVA to the Void, which actually winds up being one of the movie's primary settings. In the film, it's established that Cassandra Nova rules over the wasteland, where its wanderers typically become one of two things: one of her minions or food for Alaya. The trans-temporal entity, or smoke monster, if you're so inclined, that guarded the Citadel at the end of time, was your first seen in Loki Season 1, Joe's Diner. During the trek across the Void's barren landscape, Deadpool and Wolverine come across a run-down diner and pop in for a bite to eat. Those places, Joe's Diner, were Kingpin's cronies, I guess, used to hang out in the Young Avengers comics. And it can be seen in the Civil War II comics and Young Avengers 2. Scarlet Witch Monument. Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch gets a cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine, but not in the way you may expect. The character's Mount Wendigo monument, first seen in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, looks to be now in the void. It's being used to root the shelter occupied by the discarded heroes like Electro, Blade, Gambit, and X-23. Rest in peace, Magneto, Punisher, and Daredevil. After Daredevil and Wolverine stumble across Elektra, Blade, and Gambit in the Void, the former tries to convince them to all team up to attack Cassandra's base, with hoping forcing Xavier's evil twin into sending them back to their timeline. When the ragtag team are reluctant at first, however, noting that no one who stepped foot in Cassandra's base has ever made it out alive. Some of her notable victims include Punisher, Daredevil, and Magneto. Later on, Blade uses Punisher's bazooka rocket to blast Cassandra's base. Also in a notable gag, Deadpool goes, "Oh no, Daredevil!" To which Elektra says nonchalantly, "It's fine." That is an Easter egg to Ben Affleck and Jennifer Gardner, who plays Elektra, being married at one point, and he played Daredevil. Ant-Man's suit and corpse. Speaking of Cassandra's base, it's made out of a giant man's head. Her office, so to speak, is located inside the skull, which is inside the suit. We imagine it's not Scott Lang's giant man, given the multiversal nature of the movie. Thanos' chair. Cassandra Nova is using Thanos' chair as a throne, and she's sitting on Doctor Strange's cape, which is inside the giant man's helmet. So if you look closely, you can see that she's sitting on Thanos' throne. Xavier's wheelchair. Turns out Cassandra likes pinching people's seats, as there's another scene that shows her using Professor X's wheelchair. The bald baddie explains that lots of versions of Professor X pass through the void. Each one of them has so far been disappointing to her, revealing that they didn't come looking for her. It seems to resemble the one from X-Men Days of Future Past the most. Infinity Stone encrusted sling ring. When Ryan Reynolds shared an image of it on his Instagram story, all the fans rushed to the internet earlier this week to speculate whose Infinity Stone sling ring it belonged to. Everyone most settled on it being Cassandra Nova's, though as you might expect, she wasn't the original owner. As she pulls it out of her pocket, she explains to Deadpool and Wolverine that an amateur magician passed through the void fairly recently as she killed him for his powerful jewelry. While there's been a lot of people who use sling rings in MCU, like Wong and Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange, most of those who have mastered the mystic arts have one, and so it's hard to tell at this stage who it belongs to exactly. The Deadpool variants. In Deadpool and Wolverine's third act, an unlikely duo faces off against a bunch of Deadpool variants, like the Wolverines mentioned before. Most of them come from the source material like Lady Deadpool, King Deadpool, and Ronin Pool, and even Deadpool 2099. Liefeld's Just Feet. Deadpool co-creator Rob Liefeld gets a shout out in one of the scenes. The Deadpool corpse blasts through a storefront in a place called Liefeld. For those who don't know, Liefeld used to botch his character's feet when he drew for Marvel Comics. Wolverine's cowl. Seeing as he spends 99% of the movie in his suit, it would have been hard for Marvel to hide the fact that Hugh Jackman's wearing the classic yellow and blue outfit. While it's still been shown in some trailers inspired in promotional artwork, the character's iconic cowl has been much less exposed in the marketing. Makes for an awesome moment when the Australian actor finally puts it back on. Shawarma. Much like the Avengers movie when Iron Man regained consciousness from the wormhole and he mentioned for the team to get shawarma, Deadpool riffs on the moment at the end of the movie when he suggests to Logan that they go get some grub after saving the day. You know, the Avengers invented shawarma, he jokes.
Stanley cameo!
There is an Easter egg for Stan Lee in the film. Now, it wouldn't be an MCU movie without a nod to Stan Lee now, wouldn't it? The late comic book writer's cameos on an ad on the side of the bus during the scene where the Deadpool and Wolverine take on the Deadpool corpse. Admittedly, we didn't catch just what the poster was advertising, but given that it read stainless steelers, we'd take a guess at it being marketing for some sort of metal wholesaler.
Excelsior! Oh.
Well, that's it for Easter eggs. What did you find interesting about the movie? Deadpool and Wolverine is in theaters now. For more breakdowns like this, check out my channel. And if you have any other cameos that I didn't mention or any Easter eggs, make sure to comment below and let us know in the comment section below. Make sure to send a like if you like this video and subscribe for more videos coming soon. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.